Hello again, and thanks very much for joining us. Merry Christmas. Now, the federal government has proposed the suspension of tax relief and rebates being granted to companies established in locations lacking public infrastructure that are providing electricity, water, and other amenities for themselves. In the Finance Bill 2022 under consideration by the National Assembly, the government has sought amendments to the Capital Gains Tax Act, among which seeks to end Reconstruction Investment Allowance and Rural Investment Allowance, among others. President Muhammadu Buhari had earlier transmitted the Finance Bill 2022 to the National Assembly. The proposal is billed for passage on Thursday, along with the 2022 Supplementary Appropriation Bill and 2023 Appropriation Bill. Now, the federal government and Germany have pledged commitments to deepen bilateral ties, meet the energy transition target, tackle climate crisis, and strengthen collaborations across all sectors. Minister of Foreign Affairs Geoffrey Onyema said the strengthening of bilateral ties, people-to-people relations, partnerships in the energy and economic sectors, tackling climate change, insecurity, and strengthening collaborations across all sectors were the focus of the bilateral meeting. He noted that the meeting was also coming on the heels of the repatriation of 22 pieces of artifacts from Germany to Nigeria, which were beyond aesthetics, but a symbol of the culture and spirituality of the Nigerian people. The Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority has advised pilots and airline operators to exercise caution over hazardous weather in the dry season. This warning was contained in an advisory, a circular with reference number AC NCAA AE ROMET 34, initiated by the Directorate of Aerodrome and Airspace Standards, addressed to all pilots and airline operators, and signed by the Director General, Captain Musa Nuhu, dated 19th December 2022. The advisory circular is the sequel to the seasonal climate prediction issued by the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, which reported the cessation of rainfall and weather associated with the dry season in Nigeria from late December 2022 to March and April 2023. Hence, this AC is intended to alert pilots about the nature of weather associated with the dry season in Nigeria, ranging from light, moderate to severe dust haze and sometimes early morning fog, which can sometimes reduce the horizontal visibility to below the aerodrome operating minima. Stakeholders in the aviation industry have expressed concerns over the inability of airlines to repatriate their revenues, noting that the trapped funds would hamper the sector's contribution to the gross domestic product of the country. According to IATA, Nigeria leads the top 5 markets with blocked funds with $551 million, Pakistan with $225 million, Bangladesh with $208 million, Lebanon with $144 million, and Algeria with $140 million. Reacting to the Secretary General Aviation Roundtable, Olumide Ohanayo, said as a result of airlines' inability to repatriate their funds, travel agents were laying off staff and businesses were folding up. He noted that aviation's contribution to the GDP would decline because revenue from the sector would be lower. In its efforts to checkmate unethical practices amongst market operators, the apex regulator of the Nigerian capital market, the Securities and Exchange Commission, has announced the commencement of an annual renewal of registration for operators. The registration for 2023, which is expected to commence on January 1, 2023, will end on January 31. According to the Commission, the annual renewal of registration of capital market operators is aimed at ensuring that only fit and proper persons operate in the Nigerian capital market. The SEC had in 2021 reintroduced a periodic renewal of registration by capital market operators to have a reliable data bank of all CMOs registered and active in the Nigerian capital market to provide updated information on operators in the Nigerian capital market for reference and other official assignments. Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry has urged the government to invest more in building infrastructure to prevent future disasters. This is coming from the chamber as the federal government plans to add 819.5 billion naira supplementary budget for critical infrastructure projects to be financed from domestic borrowing sources to the 20.5 trillion naira 2022 appropriation to bring the total budget to 21.32 trillion naira. The Director General of LCCI, Dr. Chinyere Almona, has stated that the unprecedented damage inflicted on some of our infrastructures due to flooding in most parts of the country require urgent financing action by the government. According to her, a deeper look at the figures show that the supplementary budget, if approved, will raise the budget deficit for 2022 from 10.78 trillion naira to 11.6 trillion naira and about 4.43% deficit to GDP ratio. Now, the World Bank Group has said that the estimated per capita income growth of 0.7% for Nigeria and the rest of sub-Saharan Africa in 2022 is insufficient to meet the challenging goals of poverty reduction and shared prosperity in the medium to long term. In its new report, an analysis of issues shaping Africa's economic future, the Washington-based bank said that poverty reduction trends, which were already derailed by the pandemic, had slowed further. According to the report, the pandemic has introduced or induced a lasting impact on long-term growth, affecting particularly the poorest people and increasing extreme poverty. It added that the weak rebound of the Nigerian economy in the aftermath of the pandemic, along with the setback from rising inflation, was insufficient to undo pandemic-induced job and income losses. It added that sluggish growth, low human capital, labor market weaknesses, and exposure to shocks are holding Nigeria's poverty reduction back. Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde signed the state's 2023 appropriation bill, christened Budget of Sustainable Development, into law in Saki, Oke, Ogun zone of the state. The governor, who sent it to the bill at the headquarters of the Oyo State Agribusiness Development Agency in Saki, lauded the lawmakers for the timely passage of the bill. The governor said that the budget would aid the completion of some projects as well as state's development initiatives.
We are at the threshold of making yet another history as we witness the momentous signing of the 2023 Appropriation Act into law by His Excellency Governor Seyi Makinde. A total of 310 billion 432 million 500,000 naira was approved and passed by us for the 2023 fiscal year.
Budget that the way of Oyo State has made their input into it. If you can remember, sometimes ago we came for consultative forum. KBS was that everybody that Governor Seyi Makinde sent us to you to go and ask you, what do you want to be in the budget? And you gave us all your input. The same way they gave it in Ibarapa, in Oyo, in Ogbomoso, Ibadan Main City, Ibadan Left City, and also in Iseyin, and in Otu, and then here in Shaki. So we connected everything together, and we met in Ibadan for the pre-treasury. We came up with a conclusion, and we had the treasury board that His Excellency happened to be the chair of that particular treasury board.
310 billion 432 million 500,000 naira. That is the budget for 2023 in Oyo State, and I've just signed it into law. Well, this is a budget of sustainable development. The 2022 budget, we called it budget of growth and opportunities. We know that some of the projects, some of the work that we've started, some of them we have to complete in 2023. So this is a budget that has 155 billion 677 million 133,034 naira 38 kobo for recurrent expenditure.
Still to come, ruble recovers ground after biggest weekly slump since July. Details of this and more after this commercial break. Stay with us.